thing. Might have peed a little bit. This marketplace fine. Guys, so we're getting back to it today. Woke up with a pounding migraine, so I don't got my hat on right now. We've been under the truck as well. Got the tranny lines rounded and the tranny cooler mounted with the fan underneath the truck. Probably gonna have to redo it because looks like it's gonna be too close to the drive shaft now. So that's cool. So that's 2 hours wasted. But you'll have that on these big jobs. As of right now, we got the drive shaft up in the vise here. Measured it out. It's only an inch shorter, or it only needs to be an inch shorter. So yeah, I gotta take an inch out of the drive shaft. But before we do any cutting, I just want to test it and see, because you only need about 3/4 to an inch of travel in the slip yoke. So I think we're going to be really close. So what we're going to do is put this new yoke on, which should be fairly easy because these U-joints have like one burnout on them. Nothing else. Barely any miles because I don't drive it on the road yet. So we're going to throw this in real quick and just see if we don't have to cut the drive shaft down, because that would be cool, because it would keep the balance and save me some cutting and fighting and choice words when I get it crooked and it vibrates. So let's get this swapped out. We made quick work of that. It come out very nice and easy. And I don't know how you guys do your joints. I used to do them, put them in a vise and beat the ever-loving crap out of them with a hammer. And then I invested in one of these. Even for ball joints, because it is a ball joint press. It makes it a lot nicer. Get yourself the ball joint press, and it makes these ease. Just run it with the impact. Nice and smooth. So that's how I do mine now. But we got the new yoke on, so let's get this thing test fit and see if we can get lucky to where we don't have to cut the $600 drive shaft out. So, story of my life. As you can tell by my face, we didn't get lucky. And we do have to cut it. So that's cool. Well, no time like the present. All right, so we're back to cutting. We're gonna have to take an inch, 3/4 inch max. Get a marker. Be back with you here in a second. Silver one probably. Oh, it's got a good tip on it. Oh, we'll describe it. Because it's black paint, you can't use a black marker. So we're going to mark right there. Now, hopefully, that we're only taking a wee pee-pee chunk out, that it won't mess with the balance. It'll mess with the balance. But the cool thing is, the weight's right here, so we're going to have to cut half this weight off. So it's definitely going to mess with that. But What I like to do when I'm cutting tube to get it right is I make my mark and then I take tape and run it around. That way it gets a nice, you get a nice square line. That way when you're cutting around, you got your cut there, and then somebody's talking to you, you're watching TV, you end up there, and then you got like a half-inch drop to your cut. So we're gonna get our tape, put it around it, get our line nice. I'm gonna cut it here first, and then put it in the other vise to grind the weld down, to get that off of there. Just makes it a little bit easier, more maneuverable piece. So yeah, let's get to taping. Alright guys, so we got the yoke cleaned up, got it back in. Took like 9,000 measurements, make sure, all that's like not doot doot, doot doot, so it don't wobble. But we're getting ready to go ahead and tack it up. I'm going to tack it 4 ways, nice and hot. That way as we're welding it solid, it don't want to pull either which way. So let's get it welded up. Not too shabby. So we wanted to melt it in really nice and strong because there's going to be a lot of bop, 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 torque on her. So we got it nice and hot. We're going to let that cool down. We're going to go ahead and powder coat it real quick first. Let that cool down. While we're doing that, we're going to jump inside and do some wiring. Let's get you on the pedestal here. We'll go ahead and get this powder coated. All right, guys, so I think we're getting ready to do first fire back up on the new engine. I got the coil packs unplugged right now because we're going to make sure we don't have any fuel leaks because new fuel rails and everything. I redid some lines. Once we got no fuel leaks, we're going to pull the fuse out of the fuel pump wire and just crank on her. Make sure she gets oil pressure, get some oil circulating, because obviously the last motor we lost oil pressure and that was the problem. So we don't want to have the same problem with this one. Went ahead and finished all the wiring. Let me show you what we did. So looky there. She's got a gauge cluster now. Got our 2-step button wired up. Got our little springy wire so we can turn the wheel still. We added a boost gauge as well because we didn't have one before. Yeah, got the fan wired up underneath, the drive shaft's back in. I almost forgot to tighten it up. That would have been bad. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and get the battery set in, and let's test for some fuel leaks. All right, battery's hooked up. Cross your fingers, I don't want any fuel leaks. Oh. That's cool. Got a big fuel leak. Yeah. There goes the paint. Why are those 3 injectors leaking that bad? Yeah. That's terrible. All right. Let's try to solve that. We'll bring you back around. All right. So we went ahead and got the fuel leak taken care of. I should have put rags in there first because it covered everything in gas. That was my second test. I put the rags in there so it didn't spew gas everywhere. But ended up having a couple bad upper O-rings. They didn't look terrible, but I guess they were just worn out enough that it didn't want to seal. So I went ahead and replaced those. I had a couple extra laying around, luckily. Tested it again and it didn't leak this time. So I guess we're good. But I'm going to go ahead and button this back up, put the bolts back in the fuel rails, and then we're going to unhook the fuel pump, see if we got oil PSIs. All right, so we're going to take the fuel pump fuse out there. Obviously, it still has some fuel in the rails, but the coil packs are unplugged, so it shouldn't fire. Let's see if we get oil pressure. Get you on the gauge there.
Well, we're waiting.
Come on, baby. There it goes. Oh, yeah. So we got oil pressure. I was getting worried there for a second. Get the sweat off the lips too. All right. I mean, it's time. Let's get the coil packs plugged back in and see if she chooches off. All right. I gotta zip tie these back up after fires. Let's plug back in. Put our fuel pump fuse. Come on. Back in. See what happens. Fingers crossed.
Start the goddamn car, Joel!
I don't know what that noise was, what the smoke was. I didn't like it. Alright, so she fired right off. What was this smoke from? Yep, let me figure out what that is. And but it fired right up and it idled. Still got some quirks to work out. Of course, my steering box seals still leaking, so that's cool. But we don't got a fuel leak, and it runs, it idles. So yeah, two-step check. First time for me. How many know it works? Light lights up on the box. Let's see what happens. Burnout truck was running, and I had to tidy up a couple things on it, add some tranny fluid. Ended up putting a steering box on it. Remember where we did a seal rebuild on the old one? Well, it was leaking worse than when it had the old seals in it, So that makes sense. So we ended up just going to the parts store and getting a new one, because this has Hydro Boost brakes on it. So the power steering pump gives you the brakes too. So you kind of want that. And it leaked. I mean, it was a steady stream. But anyway, as you can see, got it all back together. She's looking good. Ended up covering up the hole in the hood with this other license plate, of course. 1947, because that's what she is. But yeah, so we're going to fire it up and take our first lap around the block. See what happens. Probably have to tow it back with the Cobalt or something. But I'm by myself too, so that makes sense. Test driving something by yourself. But hey, what's the worst that could happen? Yeah, it's just the header wrap still smoking. I don't see anything leaking. Makes me regret that a little bit. Stinks. I don't see any leaks. Oh, let's check underneath. Oh, this gravel's so comfy. Yeah. See anything? Tranny's dry. Motor's not leaking oil yet. Tell you what though, she's got some fat. This thing don't weigh nothing. That was only first gear. It's got, I have figured out that it has reverse pattern. Drive is first and first is third.
Now this is a little different than most transmissions. First up, drive doesn't work, but third does. Neutral is park, reverse is second. If you want to use reverse, put it in drive. You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
And the accelerator sticks too, so be careful. But don't be afraid of it. You got to give it to her, it's going to stall.
But yeah, not used to that. Wasn't used to the trans brake. I also figured that out. I was fighting with it yesterday. And I'm like, man, I think it's just low on fluid. It won't go in reverse, won't go in reverse, won't go in reverse. I've never messed with a trans brake automatic before. Well, turns out you have to activate the trans brake for reverse to work. I'll be darned. So I figured that out. No, it has reverse. So that's cool. But yeah, so we're gonna let it cool down a little bit and probably take it for another rep. Alright guys, so this is going to be the end of this video. As you can tell, the attire is a little different. We're in the house. As I said in the caption, there's going to be a big announcement at the end of this video, so you're only going to follow along to the end to see the announcement. Well, we officially have our first go-around of apparel. The old Mac Rat shirt, and then we have some official AJP custom stickers. So we're super excited to finally have apparel and legitimate stickers for everybody. We have limited quantities right now of sizes. We just made a small order just to see how you guys would like them or how everybody would like them. So if you would like to get a shirt or a sticker, we can either send you what we have in stock or we can get you on an order for the next order. But go on my personal Facebook, Austin Piper, and send me a private message, as we do not have a website yet. But if you go on there, send me a private message and we'll get you hooked up. So thanks for following along. I couldn't do any of this without you guys, and I appreciate everything. All the followers, likes, subscribers. But yeah, big time. We officially have apparel. So thanks for following along. Well, see you later.